Hi everyone. At the moment I am competing in the 5th Leyland Chess Congress, which is 27th of August at 29th, and has 3 sections: an under 135 minor, an under 170 major, and a FIDE rated open, and I am in the under 170 major with an ECF of 141, which is very tough, and it is my first major, and at the moment I've done 4 games and 2 more tomorrow, and I will show you my first 2 rounds tonight. Round 1, I was playing white against an opponent called Andrew Barber, who has an ECF of 160 and plays for some club in Wales. And my major debut is underway, and it's a good congress, by the way. And if you want to keep a FIDE rating active and you don't want to do all like British and all that, then this is a good tournament. Where you get 6 FIDE rated games in the Open. Anyway, onto the game. I was white. This is round 1 out of 6. I was white and opened with d4, and he played the Dutch defence, and in particular the Lenningrad Dutch, for all these theory. And then he plays Queen e8, which is a strange move, but common. But I don't really know much about the Lenningrad. I need to do some serious revision on it. And I played the move Rook e1, which when I looked up got given a question mark exclamation mark. You know, it doesn't look that bad. If he plays e5, I'm going to take and go e4. That was my idea. But now he completely throws me with knight a6. He's played 2 rather weird looking moves. He's put the knight on the rim, and he's also put the queen in a strange square. And I've always thought the queen only goes to e8 when it can come to h5, but obviously not. Now I went a3, stopping the knight coming into b4, and now c5. And now I played a novelty, well, a move that I'm not in the database, with rook b1, which I presume means it's bad. It's also was my first long think of the game. Again, I played really slowly in this game. You can tell that I've not played the Congress for a while. My opponent was slow as well. The move I thought I saw was d5, knight c7, e4, takes, knight takes, rook takes, bishop f5, and you can see why rook e1 gets question mark exclamation mark. I mean, black's breaking bishops are going to give him equal chances here, but the idea of rook b1 is just to keep tension and remove the rook from the dangerous dark square diagonal, getting out of the g7 bishop's line. Rook b1, knight e4, because we know in the Dutch the e4 square is the most important square from black's point of view. He will always try and plant the knight there, and if it's taken, he can now take with the f pawn and open the f line up for the heavy pieces to infiltrate. Now I play this passive move e3, and now he decides to give up his e4 outpost in return to double my pawns with knight takes, pawn takes. And I've got some pressure on the queen's side in return for the double pawns, so chances are about even. Now he goes rook b8. And now I went knight d2, which was a rather passive move. I should have gone e4, and after f takes e4, knight g5, h6, knight takes e4, queen f7. This is actually what I'd planned, but I'd overlooked. You can tell that I'm rusty overlooking something like this. I can just go queen e2, defending both weaknesses. I completely missed that. Need to get back into it. I've got another congress like almost a few days after, and another one a couple of weeks after, so once I start sweating some chess again, I should get better. Anyway, knight d2, just trying to force through e4 or something, but it's just too passive. And now he goes b6, removing that vulnerable pawn, and now black's not really got any weaknesses. He just needs to recycle his knight. Knight b3, don't know what I'm doing here, didn't have a plan at all. Bishop d7, now he wants to, and now in the Dutch defence, black's light square bishop is a very poor piece, because of course when you play f5 it kind of like, you know, hems it in and all that, so he wants to like swap it for my bishop. And the reason why you usually fianchetto on g2 is to stop black fianchettoing on b7 and making the bad bishop good, and also them lines are very dangerous for white. I play queen e2, trying to force over e4 with maximum effect. Bishop c6, and now I play it. And now he plays e5. The idea is he wants me to close it off with d5, and then he can hack me up with f4 g5 King's Indian style, and then when he plays g5 his queen can come in and his rook will come in, and it's sort of, you know, nasty. And I decide to play d5. I could have took, and then he would throw in the in-between move. G takes f5, the dynamic way to capture. And now d5, knight c7, and these two strong pawns should give black some good counterplay. And white's knight, and that knight d2 to b3 move was practically pointless, to be honest. Don't know what I was thinking of. Anyway, I went d5, and after bishop d7, now although d5 was fine and preserves equality, the problem is that I've blocked the centre off and it's hard to create counterplay. Then I somehow put the knight back to d2, clueless. And now he could have, if he could have tried hacking me up with f4 now, and after knight f3, queen f7, I would probably play something like rook b2, getting f2 more well protected, and white's solid enough here. But white's a bit passive here. I've always had problems against the Dutch. I always seem to get hacked by it. Knight c7 was played, and now I went knight f1, another chicken move. You can tell that I'm playing in my first major. I'm used to playing 120s and 130s, and instead I'm getting 160s and playing like a wet lettuce. Now queen f7, doubling up on the f line. Bishop d2, another awful passive move. Just protecting c3 in case the diagonal ever gets opened. And now rook b8. However, he could have punished me with f4, f3, g5, and black's attack is looking pretty dangerous there, and has the advantage. Instead, he plays rook b8, which also kind of incarcerates his knight, because now how is it getting out? So that was an inaccuracy. Now e takes f5, trying to get some play, because at this point, and I spent a long time on this move, and I just couldn't see where the counterplay was coming from. Like, before this move, try and find something else that's active for white. You will have big problems. So e takes f5, g takes f5, and now h3. And I want to play knight h2, and after f4, f4 knight h2, and then like take. Also possible was bishop g5, queen g6, bishop h4, and white's solid enough here, but he is rather passive. I play h3, which is weakening, but at least it clears the h2 square for the knight. And now after f4, knight h2, he plays the line which I prepared, which is f takes g3, f takes g3, and queen g6, which attacks the g pawn. And now white's king is starting to look a bit loose, with the heavy pieces ready to infiltrate, and the bishop d7 bishop menacingly pointing at my h3 point. However, bishop f5 is much stronger, and after rook b2, queen g6 now the bishop's on a more active square, and it also stops and it's like it just takes control of the diagonal. And now g4, bishop d3, this is the difference, that the bishop's more active. And after bishop e4 best, now bishop takes e2, bishop takes g6, bishop takes c4, takes, and black's going to win the d5 pawn. He'll have two pawns and raking bishops, which is easily enough compensation and excellent winning chances. White's rooks are hard to do anything because there's only one open file. Instead he goes queen g6, which provokes a weakness with g4, and now bishop h6 was played, trying to trade the bishops. However, I can get a bit of activity now, and I take the tempo to centralise my bishop. And now queen g7, rook f1, bishop takes h6, queen takes h6, and queen d3 is probably about equal, maybe slightly better for black, but it's a good move to choose. Now instead I play rook f1, trying to trade some pieces off because I'm passive, but he just blocks it with bishop f4. And now I played bishop g2, another chicken move. How many wet lettuce moves have I played in this game? We need a calculator to keep up. Rook f2 is better, trying to double on the f line behind the black bishop and then get some pressure going, get a bit of meat going. But bishop g2, and now he could have ripped open some lines with h4, and after g takes h5, bishop takes h3, black is starting to get a very strong attack, and white's king has been completely opened. The only good thing is that I can maybe play king h1 and rook g1, and black's king could get in trouble on the g line, but he can always tuck it away, and there's nothing really here for white. Black's winning. Rook f7 was played, and now I decided to chop the bishop up. Now I defend my pawn, but now he infiltrates with his rook, and I was in terrible time pressure at this point. And I played rook f3, but that just allows queen e5, and now the e line has just got so much pressure on it. All his heavy pieces are going to triple on it. Also good is to take, and then h5, just ripping open lines because the pawn's attacked 3 times. If it's taken, then h3 falls. But he misses that, and he was in time trouble as well, and plays queen e5. And now I play, I play bishop f1. If knight f1, then rook e2, queen d3, and h5, just ripping open lines. He never actually plays h5, which surprises me. It's a very logical move and opens some stuff up. Instead, bishop f1, rook e7. Now the trebling's been complete, and I just couldn't stand this rook, and I removed it. And now he takes with the pawn, which is best, because now he's got a passed pawn, which is hard to stop. And my king is just completely wide open and sitting duck here. If queen takes e3 check, then I had planned queen f2, and after queen takes c3, queen takes f4, bishop e8. Black is still substantially better, but it's not clear cut. But the game continuation is easily better for black. Now after f takes e3, I play bishop g2, and after e2, I have less than a minute to make the time control, and we're on move 35, and you get 20 minutes back at move 40 after getting in 100 minutes for the first 40 moves. And however, thankfully I get simple moves so I don't blunder. But after rook e1, you could have played queen e3 check, king h1, queen f2, and after queen d2, bishop a4. And now this passed e pawn completely tying me down, and black should win this, but he misses this in the time trouble himself. And after bishop e8, queen d2 I played. Now he rattles off bishop a4, and now knight f3. And this is just accepts a lost endgame, but I couldn't think of anything else in time trouble. And he plays check, takes, now king f2. I just rattled that off with seconds left on clock. Knight d2, however, put some more resistance. Say rook takes c3, rook takes a2. Rook takes a3, and now rook e7 with some strong counterplay on the 7th rank for the pawn, but of course it shouldn't be enough. But king f2, rook takes c3, rook takes e2, and now with 15 seconds left he played rook takes c4, and we have made the time control, and black's just a pawn up in this endgame, and now d5 is like gonna fall, and a3 is weak, and my only chance is to create some counterplay against the black king with my rook, knight and bishop. And I was envisaging plans of just matching the king up to f6 via g3, h4, etc. I could have played rook e7, and after knight takes d5, rook takes a7, check, king g3, knight e3, and knight e1. And now I'm a pawn down, and I'm a bit passive as well, apart from the rook. And black should win this. But I play knight d2, and after rook c2, pinning me down. But stronger is rook f4 check, followed by rook d4 with strong centralisation. And now I played bishop e4, attacking the rook, rook c3, winning another pawn. This is lost this, although I do have some counterplay, and I played bishop a3, rook takes a3, and now rook e7. I desperately need to get something going, or I'm going to lose without a fight. My target is to bring the knight in and try and win h7 or d6, and then maybe I can survive. Now knight b5 now, which protects both pawns, and black's over a pawn up now, according to Houdini, which suggests that I have a bit of compensation, but not enough. Now knight e4, now it goes wrong a bit here with knight d4. The bishop c2 is best because it covers the h7 point, and after knight f6 check, king f8, I have nothing. But now knight d4, bishop g2, and rook a2 check. Now I play king g3, and again I want to match the king up to get close to his king and get some threats going. And now he blunders with knight b5. If he wants to retain winning chances, he has to play king f8, rook takes a7, bishop e3, takes, knight takes d6. And I've won the pawns back, but black's still better with the two connected queenside passed pawns, but there's certainly drawing chances. But in the game he plays knight b5, allowing check. If he goes to h8, he gets Arabian mated. So if he goes to f8, and after rook takes h7, c4, rook d7, c3, and check, we agree to draw because I have a perpetual with rook and knight. Say king e8, knight f6, king f8, etc. It's a forced draw, and a bit of a swindle there because I was losing most of that game. Got absolutely hacked up by 160, but gave me a good start and to a tough section. And I hope you've all enjoyed this video as well. Please leave any comments and thoughts. Thanks very much.